Hey everyone, this is Renisha Martin, and this is In Session, the Martin Muir podcast.
And I'm Laura Muir. We're the co-owners of Martin Muir Counseling, Kentucky's leading Black-owned mental health agency. And this is our space where real conversations happen.
You're officially in session.
All right, let's break the ice. We're going to start with something light, a game of this or that.
All right.
We're just going to go like back and forth, rapid fire to each other.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. If you want to give an explanation, we can. Here we go. Early morning productivity or late night productivity?
Early morning.
Early morning?
Yeah.
What time do you wake up?
6 a.m. One day I'm going to be a part of the 5 a.m. club. I'm thriving.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's I could never do it. I'm definitely late night productivity.
Yes, you are. Yeah,
I'm late
2
night.
a.m. text.
Yes, yes.
Oh, beach vacation or a city vacation?
To be honest, both. I love both vibes. But if I had to choose, definitely beach because I love the water.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Beach and sand. Love it.
Yeah. But if I can't be at the beach, I want to be in like a big city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fully planned trip or spontaneous trip?
These days I'm into the spontaneous trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Been happening. So I've been having fun with that. Let somebody else plan it. So,
Yes. Yeah. I like a spontaneous trip.
Yeah. Working from home or being in the office? Y'all know, working from home.
I like a balance. Like if I feel like coming in, I want to come in, especially if there's people here. But if I don't want to, I'm thankful that we have our own business and I can work from home.
There you go.
Yeah. Reading a book or listening to a podcast?
I love reading a book, just like feeling of the pages, the turning, and just in like the touching in hand. But a 30-minute commute every morning, I'm turning into like a podcast, audio book kind of girl.
Person. Honestly, I'm neither. Like I love books. My son actually laughs at me because Bray's like, Mom, do you just collect books because the way they look? Yes, because I love the way they look. I love the way they smell. I love the way they feel. If I'm on a beach vacation, I might read a book, but any other time, I don't ever pick up the book to read.
I love a good book. Yeah, just getting lost in a whole nother story, historic, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Love it.
Family movie night or a quiet night to yourself?
Oh, family movie night.
It depends on which night.
Well, true.
Yeah. Like I love, just sitting with my son, watching a movie, hanging out, dinner. But I love a good Friday night by myself.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think that comes with age too.
Yeah.
Like just peace. like
it's quiet.
Okay, brunch or dinner?
Love a good mimosa, so brunch with my friends. Yeah.
I think it depends on the day. Like sometimes, you want a good brunch, and sometimes I like a fancy dinner.
Yeah. Being the host or being the guest?
The guest.
The guest, without a doubt. Yeah.
The guest.
Do not come in my house. I don't touch nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not cleaning up. Like, no.
Although I do feel like I host a lot, like, or people come to me a lot, but I wouldn't say I love it. Like, I love the people being there. I don't want to be all the planning and everything.
Yeah.
Overdressed or underdressed?
I like underdressed. It's comfortable, but overdressed, it's also like just my vibe of being creative with what I have on.
Yes. I feel like I'm more... Is it? But like, where are we going? I have questions. I don't like these questions.
Like, where are we going and why?
Where are we going and why? Like, should I be overdressed? Like, am I? Like, okay. So I'm not answering.
Music while working or total silence?
I think again depends on the vibe and what kind of work I'm doing.
Yeah. If I'm like deep into a project, I need it to be silent. Like, let me just focus, get everything together. But if it's just like a chill, something's playing in the background.
Yeah. Like if I just need to check some emails or something, I could turn on music. Who are you listening to? What music?
Right now, I'm just on my female, like, siren, just bad B kind of music, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion all day. I love me some Megan.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm like 90s R&B.
Yeah.
Like
just kick it.
Yeah. Can we talk? All right. Celebrating a big win quietly or celebrating loud?
I'm more of a celebrating, like, quietly. because I feel like it's always a build up. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm excited. And then he comes. I'm like, okay. But then it's on to the next. Not that
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying the moment, but kind of silently, I enjoy those moments.
Yeah. I like loud with my people.
Mm.
Like with the people who like pour into you and are there with you. Like I like that.
School drop off or school pickup?
I hate them both.
Right. Like neither. Need to hire somebody. Pick my child
Where
up.
is the bus system when you need it?
It's too early for the morning and afternoon. It's just like that breaking your day that I'm like, oh, I'm deep into
and the
something.
teachers are so rude. Like they're so, and God love them. Like they're unhappy, but the teachers are like literally. my one kid is in high school, so they just come out. That's fine. But the other one, they get so angry and they make you split in two lines. But nobody wants to be on the outside line because then your kid is weaving through all the other cars to get to the other.
It's like they need a new system.
Yes, yes. Cook dinner or takeout food?
It depends. If I'm in my cooking, vibe, then I would love to cook something homemade. But, takeout's always convenient, especially a good restaurant.
For sure. Same. I'm definitely more of a takeout. Although I have been cooking more, and I think, or that just happens in our seasons. Like if sports seasons are really busy, then it's all takeout. But then when you actually have time to come home after school and do it, cook. Yeah.
Calendar color coded, or you're just trying to remember everything?
I have a color for everything,
without a doubt.
All right, building something new or perfecting something that already works.
I love the creativity of building something new and just like bouncing those ideas and just that, throw, an idea to the wall, see what sticks. But I think there's seasons for perfecting things. Like, okay, let's do it. Give it some time. Does it, sit, change?
Yep. Yeah. I like new. I get bored easily.
Big vision planning or day-to-day execution?
Big vision planning, for sure.
And I'm always thinking big, and then we have to scale it down.
Yeah, big. And then take risk or play it safe?
Take risk.
Risk, yes. YOLO. Yeah. All right. So this is our very first podcast episode, which is so exciting. So exciting. We have been in business for 10 years.
Yes.
That's wild.
Beyond wildest dreams that we are still here 10 years later.
Yes. And it has been a journey. Like it has been a journey. And you're going to get to hear all about it in the upcoming episodes. We are planning a big 10-year, big, but like intimate.
Yeah. We don't like to host. So it's the celebration is big, but it's intimate. Yes.
Big celebration for all of the impact that we've made in our community and the community that has supported us to help us get to where we are today. Yes. So we decided to tell that story in the form of this podcast.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing that people don't recognize is that Martin Muir is bigger than us.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're often like, oh, how do you guys do everything? That's really what prompted us to like really do this, to show the world that it's more behind the scene, like the behind the scene. How did we, get started? We used to tell the story all the time. And I think after a while, you just kind of live it. And this is an opportunity to let the community and people know how we got started and who are, like when you call, who's calling? It's not us that's answering the phone.
Right.
And who's doing the work outside of just us.
Yep. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So I think, or let's just take it back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Like how did we start?
So we met. How did we meet? Long time ago. Once upon a time. We actually met in grad school. We were both at Webster University. And for those that don't know, Webster University is actually located in St. Louis. But they had a satellite campus here in Louisville, Kentucky, off of Zorn Avenue. And I remember like hearing a commercial. Actually, at a time of my life, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of over the place that I was working. Probably got into it with another supervisor, like knowing me. I was like, I'm done. Like, I got to do this myself, take a different route. And during that time, kind of coming into the workforce, it didn't matter what degree you had, like you got a job. And then I remember the economy kind of shifting. they wanted your degree to match more with the field. So I'm like, okay, that means I have to go back to school. What do I want to study? And heard a commercial on the radio, B96.5. And, you know, back in the day when we all listened to the radio. The radio. And there was a commercial for Webster University. And I'm like, that's a sign to enroll. And, you know.
Yeah. So what year did you start?
Oh, gosh. What year did I start?
I graduated 14.
And 10. I was
2009 or 2010?
2010.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same. I started 2010. I went to U of L and did horribly. Like, I lost my whole scholarship, got kicked off campus, got arrested, all of these things. So my GPA was not the greatest. And I went to go apply for U of L Kent School of Social Work. And they basically told me that I had to go back and get a whole new bachelor's degree because my GPA was so low in undergrad. And I was like, there's no way. Right. Like, I'm not doing that. And same on B96.5. I heard the commercial. Yeah. And so I called them and met with them, and they were like, yeah, you can come. And I think like the first semester you had to make a certain GPA or whatever to stay in. Yep. And I went there and graduated with 4.0. Yep.
There you go.
Yep. I had to make it up.
So in that journey at Webster University, that's where we met. Mm-hmm. I think I had started a semester before you. So we probably had like 2 classes together.
Yeah.
Around that time, then you were pregnant also with the twins at that time. So graduated and working for an agency we will not name and not liking it. And one day I got a phone call from Lauren, and she was like, hey, Renisha, are you still interested in like looking at other work? I'm like, yeah, like what's up? And she's like, well, there's this other agency we will not name.
Unnamed.
Like, we got beef with everybody, y'all. That's why we're the best. No, but, and so I joined that team and started doing contract work. At the time, contract work was something new and a new concept in the mental health field, and working for a private agency was also like very new. Yeah.
Because Medicaid had expanded.
Yes.
And allowed smaller agencies to have these private practices.
Yeah. So we started there, and from there, we recognized that we just had a connection. Mm-hmm. So if I'm working with a mom and working with mom through therapy, recognizing, daughter needs therapy, son needs therapy, husband also needs therapy. Like, hey, Lauren, can you take this family, or, can you help out? And then we will like tag team. Like, she's seeing the kids, I'm seeing the parents, and that dynamic that we just had, and we're seeing change in the family, and we're seeing change in our clients. And then that transferred into other people seeing it in the community, and we started to do groups. So, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when we started doing the groups in the community, we went to go have a conversation with the previous agency that we worked for to give them awareness of the groups. Yeah. And we're not really sure where the communication broke down, but I think that she thought we were coming to talk to her about something else and was like, it was prepared.
Weird. It was like, we went in so calm, like, hey, let's just give her the heads up. We're making a lot of, wave in this area of groups in JCPS. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what she was thinking, because she blew another person we had beef with.
She blew up. Yeah, she blew up, and she said she was going to fire me. And I was like, okay, well, I quit. And it really took me out of character that day.
I'm sitting in the waiting room, okay? It was like myself and maybe 2 other people. Mm-hmm. And we could just hear Lauren like cussing and going. I'm like, oh my God, I think they're about to fight.
I think and that's not even in my, that's not even me. But it goes back to like your previous place of employment, and that employment did not treat people fairly. Treated people, they did not treat people well. They were
numbers. They were about revenue.
Yes.
And at the place that I was working at the time, they were firing some good therapists, some really good targeted case managers, because they weren't meeting this number. They didn't care that, they had this connection with the client. They are, meeting the client where they're at. They're seeing results. That didn't matter. It's like, you didn't see enough this week, so, we're letting you go.
Yep. So I walk out of that room that day, and I was like, yeah, I quit. I'm done. I'm out. And
Yeah.
Renisha's like, wait, what happened? Like, what happened?
And then she came storming out, yelling at me. Then I stand up. I'm like, hold on. I was like, well, I don't know what happened in there, but
like we're not doing this. So we left, and the office was down the street from TJ Maxx.
Yes,
at the, like off Taylor Boulevard or Taylorsville Road.
Yeah.
Taylorsville Road. And so we go sit in that back parking lot. We're like, debriefing the whole thing. And Risha's like, well, we can just do this by ourselves. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, how?
Like, I don't know.
I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. We're gonna figure it out.
Whatever we do is better than this. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It was. And then literally probably met with that attorney within like a couple of months.
Yeah. Yeah. Started paperwork, just planning things out. The biggest part, to kind of go back, part of our story, I think we also have to include like the impact we made with like groups that we were doing and why we felt like, okay, we just need to inform that employer. We were asked, because they were seeing the impact that we were making within the community, JCPS, a few employees there asked us to come in and do groups. And we're like, sure, we can do groups. And they're like, okay, we need ADHD groups. Like, okay, we can pull out our textbooks. We can build some curriculum. Let's do it. And the first day we got in there, we first noticed they were all black boys.
All black boys.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
they were so many. Cute and all over the place. They were all
one's
over
jumping
the
over
place.
here. One's under the table. One be like, oh my God. Like, what did we? Hey, we got Starburst.
We were what? Like we would have been like 25, 26
like
or young.
Yeah. Like, sure, we can do this. And first we separated the groups. It was just too many kids in the group. And when we did that, and then start talking to them one-on-one, not only just group, but individual. And then we introduced targeted case management to the families. We recognized one had witnessed his brother getting murdered. Another witnessed domestic violence, homelessness. Another kid, I remember he was like wearing like adult clothes.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, he was. Yeah. He was.
But when we were able to dig deeper, we recognized it wasn't just ADHD. A lot of that was trauma, and trauma often mimics ADHD symptoms. So when we were able to do that, we were like, we have something here. You know, then 2 more schools asked us to come in. And then we met, I'm not sure how we met Miss Sandy, maybe. But then she asked us to come to Dismiss House for Women, and do anger management classes, mental health assessment for the women there.
Yeah, and that was women who had been in prison and were coming back and like reintegrating back into society.
And with their kids.
Yes. And those were heartbreaking stories, because that was when the women, or, I feel like it was an aha moment for me, that they were like we can't control, we wish we could control it. Like, we didn't want to hurt our families. We didn't want to hurt our kids. We didn't want to get our kids removed from us. Like, we want it to be different. And and that whole experience was just real loud.
So we were just making a lot of movement in that area. I'm like, okay, maybe we should tell the agency that, what we're working for, or contracting with, what's going on and how to like do both, how to bring this all together. And of course, then that happened. The whole conflict happened. We're in TJ Maxx parking lot, and we're like, let's do this. And okay, so we knew what we didn't want from the 2 agencies we currently had worked for, but we were like, well, there was still more for us to learn.
A whole lot more. Yeah. Like, we met with the attorney, like, we didn't even know what the contract was. Like, she's asking us questions we don't, we can't even like comprehend.
No. Do you remember? She's like, do you guys want to keep the name? And you was like, well, what if one of you all get divorced?
Mind you, 8 years later, I got divorced. 6 years, 7 years later, I get divorced. They're like, no, we would never need to change the name.
Yeah.
Naive. I was very naive.
How things change.
How things change. But you see, it's still Muir. It's still Muir. Yeah.
Keep the name. What did Tina Turner say? I worked hard on
that name.
Keeping the name.
Yeah. That was funny. So we got the attorney. We opened the business. That was 2016. So 2016 to 2019, we continued to do the work. In the schools.
And other agencies.
Yes. We got like really unique perspective of, again, this was a time where Medicaid had expanded and these places were starting to open up. So another case manager at that same agency had came to us and said that her friend was wanting to open an agency. So we were the first people to go over there and helped her build that agency because we had gotten firsthand knowledge on like billing and audits and all the things that you typically don't coming out of school as a therapist. And that, I mean, that's a big part of our story too. We got really unique experience that most clinicians out of school wouldn't have gotten.
So a lot of working experience. We decided like let's just work for every agency in the community and learn how they do things. You know, look at their paperwork and what works for them, what doesn't, what are things that we really liked about those agencies. And to kind of form Martin and Muir, you know, because it was our own thing and we could make it whatever we want it to be. And I think that's what people don't see or know about us, how hard we worked to get it started before anyone was working for us. Literally building a business, working for 2 or 3 other agencies at that time. I had Orion, you know,
who was
3 around that time. So that like the twins and Orion about the same age. So like toddlers running around, working all these different places and figuring out what works and what's one of the funny stories. It was you were working at Peace Hospital doing assessments when you're texting me. And this is like, again, the hard work that goes into it. Texting is like about a duck. Like I'm here with a duck. And I'm like, what? Like, oh, emotional support animal? What do you mean a duck? He's like, no, the duck. I'm like, what are you? He's like, no, he pulled out.
Oh, yes. He did.
It was autocorrect. I'm like, what?
It was the duck. Because that, I mean, also there's not, between the both of us, there is not a population that we probably haven't touched.
Not touched.
And with, when I work,
I don't know if you say touched in that.
No. There's not a population that we have not encountered or worked with. Those could still be bad words. But anyway, I went over to St. Mary Elizabeth Hospital. I will never forget that. They were like, we got a psych patient. We need him to be assessed, like blah, blah, blah. And I walked in and I started assessing him and the man pulled out.
He's like texting me like, the duck. I'm
and like, this is when I knew.
Emotional support animal. That's
this is not the population.
She's like, no, autocorrect.
Like this man is...
Okay. We saw a lot of things. And even in the trenches of like going to people's homes. And I remember sending, I'm like describing what I have on to Lauren and taking a picture of the house. Like if I do not make it out. Yes. Like we were in like gangland territory. Going into homes. Homes that were just shot up the night before. And it was dangerous. But like looking back now, like that's just what we did. Like that was the community work. We were meeting people where they're at. And
it was somewhat, I guess, of a different climate, or maybe we just didn't know as much. But you couldn't pay me to do that today.
Now I'm like, we used to sit.
Like there's no
like sending text like, okay, there's the gun on the table. Just you know, like it was wild.
I had that happen.
That we like, I'm pretty sure that was a drug deal that just happened.
But we're here.
We're here. Okay. We saw a lot of things because we wanted to like, okay, this is the population we're serving. And I think the biggest part for us was gaining the respect and the community knowing who we are. I think later, more, the external corporate, all those other things. But for us, like, okay, the population that we're serving, and like, we need to know this, and we need to be like in the trenches of everything that's going on.
Some days it feels like you're carrying everything by yourself. Work, family, expectations, bills, relationships, anxiety, past hurts.
And no matter how tired you are, you still show up, still smile, still say, I'm fine, but inside you're exhausted. If that's you, we see you.
At Martin and Muir Counseling, our team of counselors, case managers, and support staff work together with community partners to provide wraparound integrative care.
We offer child, teen, and adult therapy starting at middle school age, plus family, couples, and group therapy, targeted case management, and medication management by referral.
We meet you where you are, at home, school, in the office, or in the community.
You don't have to do this alone. Call or text us at 502-383-2969 or book online at martinandmuir.com. MartinandMuir. Located in Louisville, Kentucky. Message us today and our admin team will get you scheduled for an intake.
So going back to, so 2019. So we got to 2019 and we decided that we were ready to start expanding our team. Because we had built some community connections. We were like, okay, we're going to hire some therapists. We're going to hire some case managers. We were at that new office at Melwood and literally had like we felt so important, y'all. We felt so like important. We were so young and knew nothing. But we had like a hiring fair and we had all these like folders and like everybody had like their new hire paperwork and like copies of all the paperwork.
Everyone together, then we can split off.
Yes. And it was like legit.
Yeah.
We were legit.
And it's just interesting how, again, we had built these relationships that people were like, oh,
everybody came.
They came and they trusted that we were going to start this business.
They did.
Like, okay.
I mean, we probably had like 10 to 15 people that came, either therapists or case managers that came.
Yeah.
So we get everybody hired. We train everybody on all the paperwork, how we're going to do everything. This is like October, November 2019. And we're like rolling, and we're like, oh, referrals are kind of slow. Now we got all these people and how are we going to give them cases? Because we
moved. Around that time, we also moved from Melwood to Lower
Brownsboro off Clifton. Yeah. And we partnered with like Strickland and Cox, who are going to come in our next season or next episode. And so we've got this new office space. Yeah. We're doing school-based therapy. We're doing in-home therapy. We have like maybe a referral or two coming every week, and we think we're like really doing something.
Like we need to hire more people.
And then the pandemic hit, and then Breonna Taylor's murder happened here in our city. And the protest in the city started, and that's when everything changed literally overnight.
That was the most pivotal moment, I would say, in Martin Muir Counseling's existence. All the other agencies, because the country's shut down. They also decided to shut down. A lot of their services were...
They laid people off.
Yeah, they were laying people off, discontinuing services for families. And at that time, it was just you and I, it still is. But we sat on a call and we were like, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep our doors open? Are we going to shut down? And we were like, no, the community needs us more than ever. And we just came up with a plan to keep our staff safe, of course, with the government guidelines. And at the time, for those that don't know the makeup of the West End and Portland area of Louisville, Kentucky, a lot of those houses are really big. So they have those long porches. So a lot of us would sit on those porches with our clients to provide our services. In the car, I'll sit here, you'll sit over there, pulling out chairs. And it was also moving into spring, so that also helped with...
You could sit outside.
Yeah. Made it a little easier for us to provide, masks, hand sanitizer, whatever our staff needed to feel safe and for the families to feel safe. And we just kept it going.
Yeah. And that's when telehealth became a thing in the mental health world. And so that was new. There was no, back then, you didn't use Zoom or Doxy or any of these platforms to do therapy. So, and then you had to have trainings to be, certified with your board so that you stayed in good standing with your board. So it was like everything that we had built and thought we had it all together, we had to unbuild and rebuild in the middle of a pandemic and a freaking race war in our city. And we just went with it. Just went with it in method needs. So then referrals started. I mean, it went from, it was
dead.
It was dead. It was like 1 or 2 a week. So then we're getting like 10 calls a day.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we connected with Millicent, who started Therapists for Protesters Wellness. And she deployed like therapists down to the square where all the protests were to help the community. And so, we can talk about like our own personal reasons why, like we didn't go down to the square, which ended up leading us to become the on-call for everyone at the square. And
That was crazy.
it was like, because honey, listen, the people were calling and it
Like
was
literally running for cover while
yes,
calling us.
yes,
Yeah, like the police are chasing me. I'm
yeah,
like,
like
hide. I don't know.
I like, what are we doing here? And it was
Right?
happening like
Yeah.
all hours of the day, like all
Yes.
hours of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I'll speak from, like, I mean, at the time that was what, 20. So I had an 11-year-old and like 5-year-old twins, and it was so like unpredictable. So I chose not to go downtown, but knew that I still wanted to support. Like, I didn't want to feel like I wasn't supporting the community when they needed. So I was all for that opportunity, when it came up.
Yeah. Yeah. And for myself, I took Orion down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took him down there when the mayor spoke, and when McAtee, I believe it was his name, was shot right there by Lyles Mall. We drove down there, and then we went to Peace Circle downtown, and just like explained to him the best way that I could about what was going on. And it was so peaceful. That's what people don't recognize. During that time, yes, it was very chaotic. A lot was going on in the city. But when community comes together and we are like, no, this is going to be peaceful. This is where you can come to get support and help. I did feel safe bringing him down there, and we like played with chalk, and like it was really chill. And to see that, and everyone like leaning on one another and helping and supporting, and resources were there, and food and music, like it was just a good time. And I feel like the media did not show that enough. That
for sure.
Yes, a horrific event happened that caused this, but that isn't going on every single day and night in this city.
Yeah. And it was such a shift because, again, we were so used to being in the community, like being in homes, being in schools. And now we're in on telehealth behind a closed door while our kids are doing schoolwork from home.
Right next to us. Yeah.
It was a disaster. It was a disaster.
Yeah. It was rough, but we got through it. It was definitely a lesson learned. And during that time, again, we like took off. We were getting calls, 10 calls a day, all hours of the day, probably more than that, supporting individuals that were, boots on the ground, providing individual support. So, yeah.
And then the other thing that came from that is then the community started to be aware that mental health was important. So they wanted people to come in and speak about mental health. Yeah. So during that time, we did a ton of Zoom interviews for news stations, big organizations, the city, all types of places talking about mental health, why it matters, specifically why it matters in the Black community. And I think that started to label us as the experts, like of Black mental health in Louisville.
Yeah, because we were like, beginning to be known as the experts, we were also seeing the trend of mental health within our community. We saw the uptake of domestic violence, but it was child to parent, and that was really big at the time and something we hadn't seen before. And just domestic violence, overall went up, but I thought that was really interesting because we do predominantly work with the young adults and supporting them and recognizing like, wow, we don't have anything in the city to support that or to provide anything for the family. So with that, we start to build it. If we don't have it, and we see that there's a need, like we would build that for our community.
Sure. Absolutely. So before we got here, right? Like we both had our own stories of why we are who we are and why we got into the field. Do you want to start?
Yeah. So for me, as far as the field, and I am a product of public education, and I love that for myself. But I would say public education isn't what it once was. I remember I was, safety patrol monitor. I was part of the conflict management team. At the time, 4th and 5th grade, I didn't know that they were teaching us motivational interviewing for our peers. And being in an elementary school that had a Kmart inside of it and learning finances and budgeting and having all these different things and clubs to be involved in, and also growing up in income-based housing, a lot of the programs came to our neighborhood or our community centers. So being exposed to different things like that and having an amazing my senior year in high school, an amazing psychology teacher that loved psychology, and I just ate that up. So I looking back as far as like being in the field, always involved in mental health, counseling, psychology, and wanting to know like the why behind like human behavior and why do they do that? You know, what's going on with this and mental health, like, and of course at that time not knowing that's what it was. I was just always drawn to that. And prior to going to grad school, I look at all of my work, it was all in community, you know, whether working daycare or volunteering for Habitat for Humanity, you know, even college, you know, undergrad, all the community service that I done, organizations that I was a part of, programming, lots of community programming, sorority things. They just pulled me, you know, more and more into like mental health. And that's just something I always just gravitated to.
Right. Yeah. Same. I think about, or when I think about all of my jobs, and I didn't even realize that until I started reflecting back.
Yeah.
But I worked in, you know, I was a lifeguard, and so, you know, people worked in the city pool, but then there were neighborhood pools that you could go out into the different neighborhoods, and I always went to the neighborhood pools. I loved it because there was no like stand to sit on. You just sat on the side of the pool and like got to know all the kids, and there was like summer food truck and all of that. And then when I went to U of L, I always did work study to make money.
Right.
And mine was I went to Arcadia Community Center, and me and these 3 girls ran Arcadia Community Center, and those families were from like a million different countries, and got to learn a lot about like different countries. And then I went to school, I thought to be an attorney, but ended up liking criminal justice classes better than political science, so majored in criminal justice and worked in pretrial and the court designated worker office, which did juvenile complaints. And from there, a very wise woman was like, you need to get out of here and go do more and learn more like clinically. So a couple weeks later, between her and Judge Byer, then I went over to Child Protective Services, worked in the homes with family, loved it, but hated being the bad guy. And that's when I started to pursue like a degree in therapy.
Yeah.
So I also have worked all, you know what I mean, in the community and always with people.
Boys and Girls Club, that was my internship. I love that.
Yeah.
The chaos, the kids running everywhere and just being free, you know, just being able to be kids. And had a supervisor that, you know, also recognized that in me and gave me all these responsibilities, which is also the only supervisor I never got into it with. So he just left me alone.
What did you like? I was going to say, what did you like about this supervisor?
He just left me alone and just like, hey, you had like work with these teen girls because they drove him crazy. Oh gosh. And he saw that in me, you know, Dan Carr. He was the director of the Boys and Girls Club of Covington, Kentucky. And we did cooking classes with them. We had step team, girl talk. And I'm like, wow, I can connect. You know, I really, you know, not that much older than them, but recognizing, you know, just the trials and tribulations of being a teen girl, you know, inner city and all those things, and connecting with them and, you know, pouring into them.
Yeah. What do you think about like when we think about our upbringing? What about your upbringing do you think like kind of molded you into the person that went on to do this work?
Growing up in poverty definitely taught me like to be empathetic to others and their needs, and being able to like live in that. Of course, when you're poor, when you're young, and I just saw it as all my cousins, you know, I get to grow up with my cousins. I wake up with them. We all go to school together, not realizing that at the time, you know, growing up in West End, Russell neighborhood in Louisville, Kentucky, that we were poor. We were all poor, but we all looked out for each other. I remember running cables back and forth so other neighbors could have like electricity, or bringing like buckets of water. And it was just, that's just what we did. Of course, you grow up and you recognize like, oh, okay, that's not normal. Right. Like everybody doesn't live like this. But, and then seeing my mom, who just wanted more for herself. She was like, okay, living check to check, you know, government assistance is just not it for her. So she went back to school, and seeing her, you know, as this single mom, you know, raising me, going back to school, making her way out of poverty, because at that time, she's like, it's too many people in this house. We're going to go live in Shepherd Square. That wasn't it. Like, what's the next move? And also my stepdad, he was really big into like education. You know, if you ever want to get out of, you know, a situation, if you're not happy, you know, Renisha, go back to school, go to school, become educated, learn the system, learn how things work, and make your way in that. So education was also a big part. of influencing me, and like looking back into childhood, that and just in that environment, such a rough environment and a harsh environment, and head on a swivel everywhere you go, like really impacts me and helps me to understand like the clients we serve now. Like I get it. I live there. I did that. I get what I look like today and how I sound today and where I'm at. But that also shaped me. And like, I know we're not supposed to talk about like our personal lives and all that in session, but every once in a while you have that moment where it's like, this is a moment I can connect and like, hey, you got it. You can make it out. Like I'm an example of that. And when you have that connection with the client, it's like, oh, they're like, okay, I can do it too. Yeah. And they get it.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, that could be a whole podcast episode on how like the norms of therapy should change for different cultures. You know what I mean? Because what you're taught in school is not, in my opinion, best practice of how to work with people, especially people of color.
Yeah. I mean, psychology was built for, white men, by white men. So the issues that we deal with and the things that we see aren't in the textbooks, aren't studied at all.
Right.
So, we have to kind of make our own, plan.
Yeah. Yep.
So, well, I know, but tell the audience like your background and your childhood and how that shaped, where you are today.
Perfect. So I grew up in Paducah, Kentucky. Hence you'll see me with no shoes on because I'm a country girl at heart. So when I get comfortable, I like to have no shoes on. But I grew up in Paducah, and I think, looking back, so I also grew up with a single mom, and you'll see like Renisha and I have very like a lot of similarities in our stories, but then differences, and then that is what makes us very able to work together. We're very similar in a lot of ways, and we're different. You're gonna learn lots about that. But I grew up with my mom, single mom, and she had me when she was a teenager. I think your mom did too, right?
Yeah, 18.
Yeah, and my mom turned 18 shortly after she had me. And I grew up in a house with a lot of domestic violence. Like my mom was with my stepdad. And so we moved around a lot to escape that domestic violence. And then in that, I lived, everywhere from projects to trailer parks to farms with my grandfather to my grandmother's house and whatever. But also, I feel like I lived in between two worlds because I'm biracial, so my mom's white, my dad's black, and so I went to a private school. It was predominantly white. I think there were 3, maybe 4 black people, but I saw the inequities like at such an early age between these two different worlds I was living in. And I lived right across the street from my school, like in what I now know is subsidized housing, right. But across the street was a private school. And so I think that made me start to see, especially as we got older, and I realized that like my friends from the private school couldn't hang out with my friends from my neighborhood or different struggles that people had. But then also I'm really big on like a voice, and that's why I love, working with teenagers and young adults, is because like I said, I grew up in a house full of domestic violence. I think that's also what does make me a good therapist is I learned to read people and environments very early because you didn't know what you were walking into. And so you had to do that. And I want to make sure that people, that don't have a voice, because I know, same like you're saying, I know what it feels like, to not have that voice.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really interesting because as like things got better for us and living in like, my mom got a house, and then it's like going back to visit cousins, and then we're in the suburbs and things are different here. You do see how things are different and not equal, and how things are shifting for one group but not the other.
Yes.
And it's like you are living in it real time that, wow, things aren't fair. There are a lot of injustice in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And beauty of getting older, then you start to reflect back, like you said, and you're like, wait a minute, that wasn't right. Or that's not okay.
That's not okay.
Yeah. Which I think it makes us, that is something else that makes us, I feel like, stand out as an agency, is we're not just in here or even out in the community just doing the work as far as one-on-one, but we have big platforms to advocate for these, like for rights of people and voices of people and the quality of care and all the other systemic inequities that come with living in America.
You see it firsthand.
Yeah.
And it shows in mental health.
This work is, I mean, it's not easy, but I think
Mhm.
sometimes people don't understand what we just do day to day. You know what I mean? People still, there's still that stigma of mental health and they
Yes.
don't really know what it is, even though people talk about it. So let's talk to the audience about, what it's like to be a therapist
Yeah, just
and what
like
our
our
roles
day to
are.
day. Yeah, what does an average day?
People call us most of the time in crisis.
Yes.
So they're all,
Yeah.
nobody calls the therapist when you're having a
You're
good
having
day.
a good time. Like, oh, girl, I'm having the best day of my life. Let's talk about it. No, it is
It's
usually
like,
the worst day of their life.
and I want
There's
help
a
now.
fire going on, and I
Yes.
need you to tell me what to do.
Yes. It's like, whoo. So most, I mean, for people that don't know what that experience is like, you call into our office. We have two amazing front staff people, Suzanne and Ava. They answer the phone. They gather like all your insurance information, all your, name, birthday, phone number,
Sign
address.
consents.
Yes. Sign consent forms. And then they get you scheduled with our intake team.
Yes. Yep. And one of our intake individuals, our assessors, will go through it, what's called a biopsychosocial, and it runs your entire history of your mental health. So we're looking from the beginning to end, any addiction, family history of mental health, where you are currently,
grief,
loss, all those things, current symptoms that you're having. We'll look usually back within the last 6 months of your symptoms. And from there, and it's really, we've done it for so long. Like, I think we really know that assessment, like with our eyes closed, frontwards and backwards. So as a person is telling their story, I usually start off with like, what brings you to therapy? And they're like, I don't know, the judge told me to come, or my mom said. I'm like, okay, what do you feel? Like, I know that's what your mom said, that's what the judge said, but what about you? What do you feel, brought you into therapy? And people, unfortunately, aren't asked that a lot, and if they are asked, they're not honest about it. So for the first time, a person's like, wow, like someone's actually asking about my mental health. They're actually asking about like me and my perspective, not this, rap sheet that's in front of them, or what my mom or dad thinks or grandmother thinks about me. They want to know me. And when you give someone that space, they'll run with it. They'll tell you every story. They will unknowingly answer half the questions on the assessment. And that makes it like 1,000 times easier for us. And so we'll like pick up, and of course, in this field, you'll pick up certain cues, certain things a person will say, and you give them that space. And like, okay, you mentioned this a second ago.
Tell me more
about that. And they're like, oh, you're listening. Yeah. Oh, you caught that. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm listening to you. I heard you say that. And they're like, okay. And that builds that trust. Like, literally, this is the first hour I've known you, and we already have built a rapport. You recognize that I'm listening to you. And then when we go through all that, and it's no judgment. Like, we've heard some things.
You will not surprise us.
No, like, not at this point. Like, maybe an episode we'll talk about our favorite clients.
Yeah.
Like, they're usually the wildest stories we have. And it's no judgment. My face isn't going to be like, oh. Then I might have a moment where I'm like, girl, now you know better, or like, dude, that's not okay. And we'll laugh, but that's part of that relationship building. And typically, like, I know who I can joke with like that, and just make light of something really serious, just to make them comfortable, because they're so used to having people judge them for their story and things that have happened to them, or things they had to do to survive.
Absolutely.
Or just fit in. So during that process, we're just gathering all this information and building rapport and trust with our client. And then from there, we use the DSM to diagnose, and we look at the symptoms and the duration of the symptoms, and we'll have a diagnosis. But I also feel like that's not our biggest thing. Like, diagnosis, I feel like this point is like for insurance purposes.
It is. Again, white man-made system of how to categorize people. Yes. Yeah. So I always tell people, I'm like, I mean, if you want the diagnosis, like, yes, here it is. But at the end of the day, this is just who you are. Like, based on your life experiences and all the things along the way that made you here, whether you're now anxious, depressed, had trauma, this is just who you are. So more importantly, like, how are we going to learn who you are, and then how to get some coping skills so that you can function in whatever, in work, in school, in relationships, in day-to-day life. But the diagnosis doesn't really matter.
No, not at all. At least not for us, but for those clients that Like, no, I want to know and I want to look it up and I want to.
Yes.
Great. Definitely educate yourself
Yeah.
about whatever diagnosis you may have, but that's not the beginning or end of your story either.
Right.
And like, you said, just how to function. Okay, this is
This is
me.
who I am.
This is who I am.
Let's
How do
accept
I
it.
function in all these facets of
Yeah.
my life and not cause conflict or not, just on how to function in the world.
Yeah. And I think also I was gonna say, for in the communities that we serve, most people are coming to us like from the court system, from schools, because mom, dad, or granny said they're a bad kid and they've got all these out of control behaviors or something. And so that's where we can, like you said, come in and like build some trust with them. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to hear what you want to work on, because it's almost like they don't even know that in other communities or other people who maybe have a different privilege, they go to therapy just because they want to.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the Black community, a lot of times, most of the time, it's punitive. Like you're in trouble, so you have to go to therapy. Yeah. You got suspended at school, you have to go to therapy. You're running away from home, you have to go to therapy. And it shouldn't be like that.
And that just continues on the stigma that we're constantly fighting against.
Yes.
That therapy should be something that you want to go to. I feel in the world, every single person should have a therapist. Everyone should have a primary care. You should have a dentist. If you have, a certain diagnosis, you have a specialist. But day to day, like, we do need someone to talk to that's non-biased, that doesn't have a dog in the fight, to support, a person's mental health. And when we make it punitive and people feel like they have to, then that we have to work 10 times as hard to just build the trust. Often, clients have this wall up and they're like, you're the therapist, aren't you a psychic? Shouldn't you know? I'm like, I'm a therapist, not a psychic. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah. They also think we have a magic wand to just,
we can
if you come to us one time, we can just fix it. Like, forget the 20 years of things that have happened to get us to this point. But sure, in one session,
we will
healed.
Have your whole life solved for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's what's good. I mean, that's why I personally love to work with like teenagers and like especially is because when you hear things like, okay, kids miss 50 days of school or they ran away from home or whatever that is, I'm not looking at the kid, I'm looking at what's going on in the home that led to this kid running away or
and that
having these behaviors.
What you said, like they're labeled the bad kid, and it's like, no, there's no such thing as a bad kid. Like, kids aren't born bad.
Right.
What environment were they born into? What are things that happen? Because when you're under the age of 18, adults should be protecting you. Right. Adults should be holding you accountable, teaching you, being a parent, parenting you and guiding you. And when that doesn't happen, or if a person isn't parented or guided in the way that, they need because of their brain, their physical, their, mental, then things do go astray. So, I don't like that label bad kid, because there's no such thing.
Right.
No, there's no bad kid. Yeah.
All right. So this has been great convo. So to the listeners, like, who maybe have a vision for building something on their own, what advice would you give them?
Go for it, especially if you're a Black male. Please, we need you in the mental health field. But do it, build it, make it happen. If this is your dream and you want to get into this field, do not let the number of years of education that you need to discourage you. Like, do it, get mentors, get support.
Right.
But we're needed in this field, and we need more therapists and counselors in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for anyone that's listening today who might be realizing that they could benefit from talking to someone, what would you want them to know about taking the first steps towards therapy and getting help?
That they're not alone. Like, there's tons of people that have taken that first step, and there's a lot of people that haven't taken that first step that should. So, just having the courage that it's okay to ask for help, because that is one thing that doesn't separate us. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where you're from, age, race, gender, what you've been through. Everybody needs help at some point in their life, because life is just full of all the ups and downs, and sometimes it's harder than others, and you know what I mean? We need somebody to talk to.
Yeah. And I think but people don't realize about therapy. They're like, oh, my life is fine. I don't, I have family, I have friends, or, I can work things out myself. That's fine. That's great. If you have that ability within you, that's amazing. But I would also challenge, we need other voices. We need to have different experiences to come to the table, different perspectives, and sometimes just to be able to understand other people. Like I'm fine, but the people around me, how do I help those around me? How do I become more of a pillar in my community and my family? And therapy can help work through that. And also like work issues, family issues, we can help in any facet of a person's life.
Sure. So I personally am very excited for this new journey. This has been great conversation today, and there's so much more to come with the guests in the upcoming episodes.
Yes, without a doubt. The guests that we have, and we're going to continue this. Like, we are having so much fun. We're informing the community. We are telling our story, and your story matters, and our story is part of, this journey of mental health in Louisville, Kentucky.
Until next time, keep doing the work.
And at Martin Muir Counseling, your story matters. Session closed.
Yay! We're done.